So speaking of copyright laws, here's one that wasn't on our lead-in. Did you guys hear about AI data centers chopping up books?
No,
Why?
I saw a headline about it, but I didn't actually get have the time to read it.
Why are they
Yeah.
chopping up books? Like, how do you mean
So
chop? Like, physically?
yeah, yeah.
Why?
Oh, it's inglorious. So you have a data center, you have an AI bot that you're training with lots of data. How do you put more data in than the competition? You buy all the rare books that you can get your hands on and you put them in the system. Well, what's the most efficient way? Chop off the binding, put in a automatic document feeder scanner,
Right.
read it 60 pages a minute, and throw away the rinds. Nothing's left. It's all scanned in.
Oh my goodness.
So rare print, out of print, hard to find books, they're buying them up by the hundreds of thousands just to scan it and then throw it away.
Oh my goodness.
This feels like a burning of the Library of Alexandria again.
Well,
It really is. They're
it,
scanning
it's
it in just for themselves and they're
it's a
locking this knowledge proprietary.
it's a burning, but at least with the burning, it was like to eliminate it completely. At least the information's being retained somehow. But
It's
that's
not being
like
retained in a method that
in a
is appropriate.
usable. Yeah, that's right. It's just like,
It's
wow.
being turned into tokens.
And pulp.
So
Just yeah. Feels
that's
yucky.
why things like the Internet Archive are so important. Because all of these historic things, and books, websites, I mean everything that could possibly go on there. I think they're extremely important because you prevent things like this from having an impact.
Mhm.
Obviously,
Except
we want
Have
to
you
prevent
seen
this in the first place.
the
have you seen
response
how art go ahead, Artie.
the response that a lot of companies have had and a lot of other bastions of knowledge is that they have forbid the Internet Archive from flashing their sites anymore because
Mhm.
it's being that the companies that run these models are using the Internet Archive as the place they scrape from because they're blocked from the other place. So so Internet
Mm,
Archive, it's a great site, but the AI companies are killing it.
Yeah,
and that's one of those things, like, knowledge be out there for everybody, or should it be locked behind a door with a secure key and only 12 people in the world get access to it? I cut you off, Jackson, go for it.
oh, I was just thinking. Well, maybe I wasn't. I totally just lost that train of thought.
Here's my thought on it. You
Derailed that
know,
train.
like I said, it is information that's being preserved in a way. It'd be nice to know though, because we know how accurate and truthful these large language models can be, right? It'd be nice
No
to get the
hallucination.
right. I mean, if I said like let's say there's a historic work of a book or something, and I said, tell me about this and tell me an accurate history of this book. Tell me, who authored it, who if I could rely on the AI to give me the complete work as it was with the illustrations, with whatever else is supposed to come with it, and not hallucinate any part of it, then I mean it's a internet archive on steroids in fact, because then at that point you can have it summarize it for you, you can have it give other kinds of ideas about it or just have a discussion with the AI about that work. But that's the problem is that right now is that all the AIs I see, there ends up being some sort of misinformation, hallucination. You get led down a wrong path that's not entirely accurate because maybe because of other input from the internet where people made incorrect assumptions or something
Meta
or
Madagascar was inserted in line in white text.
yeah, we talked about that.
Ask it
earlier here in
about
the
the
office.
Odyssey, and it'll say it was written by Christopher Nolan.
Right. I mean, it's just like I don't think it's fair to
Oh,
gatekeep the knowledge if your model isn't going to provide an accurate presentation of it.
mhm.
You know,
Have you seen how archivists scan books?
oh, very carefully. It's like a white glove event, right?
Kind of. They developed this really cool device. It looks like a knife, but it's
Mm,
actually this blade thing that comes down, vacuums up 2 pages, and reads them, scans them in as it lifts it,
I
and then
have
it
seen that.
moves over, lets them fall down, then comes in and scans the next page. Scans 2 pages at a time and turns the page, scans those 2 pages, turns the page, and goes through the whole book that way. It's slow, methodical, but the book is
And it,
intact at the end.
yeah, and it keeps the book intact. That's the important thing.
That is a cool piece of technology. I've seen that.
It's
Feels like
really cool.
these companies are just wanting to increase their vault of knowledge while destroying it for the rest of the people that are out there.
And that's where
Literally.
I think so it's a rare moment for me to advocate for government stepping in regulating stuff. But this is absolutely one of those times where we need government to
Mhm.
say, stop burning books. Or if you burned it, you not only need to load it to the Internet Archive or make it free and public for everybody because
Gutenberg.
you're destroying.
For those
This
of
should
you
not
that
be a
don't know,
destruction event.
Project Gutenberg is a wonderful online resource. They back up all sorts of books that it's my favorite go-to place for any books online. Anything that's in the public domain is there pretty much.
Mhm.
Now I've got family that is authors. They get their money from books. So this is one of those sensitive things to me. I definitely
Oh
want
yeah,
artists to get their dues and to just
definitely.
buy 100,000 books or 1,000,000 books and chop them up and scan them in. It's wrong.
Yeah. And I understand, like, if we're talking historic books, one, it's out of print, so it is reasonable to believe that the copyrights have long since expired. However, that fact that it's old, there's this historic nature. I mean, people need to be able to have a physical connection with history. You know, it's one thing to hear about and look at, go to Wikipedia or even just a Google search or something and read about some historic book or story or work of art or anything. It's something completely different to go to the museum and actually see it in person. You know, I remember when I got to go to New York City and I saw Van Gogh's Starry Night in person.
Hmm.
I had seen it in books and books and books and on the internet lots of times. I know what the picture generally looks like, right? But until you actually go to the museum and you're standing in front of it and you're like, Van Gogh painted that right there. And you can stand there and admire it and admire its beauty and everything. It's a different feeling and it's a different experience than just looking at it in a book.
Mhm.
You know, so to destroy physical history is I mean, yes, there is a lot of things we don't necessarily need to keep. We can't keep everything, otherwise we're going to all be a bunch of hoarders, and we can't keep everything. But there are significant things that we shouldn't be destroying, and we should be trying to preserve as much as we can. Yes, scan it, index it, whatever you need to do to get a digital copy of it so that the information is preserved, because heaven forbid that the museum has a fire and, everything burns up. But as much as possible, we need to preserve our physical history so that others can experience it.
Yeah, I mean, just imagine if every time you took a picture of something, it got like physically destroyed. Like,
Mhm.
think about all of the, especially in England. Like in the United States, we don't have a ton of really old architecture just because the United States isn't that old.
Mhm.
You
Well,
know,
not
But
there
in
European
England,
architecture.
There could be use of that camera like that, though. Just saying.
Right. Maybe in the future there'll be some method of digitization that requires like assimilation. Um, but
I'm
uh,
learning by osmosis.
right. But I mean, I know people that make entire summer vacations are going to England and seeing all of the old architecture, the cathedrals, the
Yeah.
castles. Like physical history is very important, and I think we can differentiate that by the effort and the significance that a certain object plays. And so books, I feel like, carry a lot of effort by the author and oftentimes a lot of significance depending on the topic, right? Diary of a Wimpy Kid may carry a little bit less significance, but you could argue that it carries a lot because a lot of kids grew up reading those, and that's like part of their childhood. But anyway, what I'm saying is these y- the reason that books are important, the same reason that this old architecture is important, because there were a large number of hands that went to create that work, or and it carries societal significance.
Mhm. Well, I can't
Speaking
say
as
the next
somebody,
piece that we need to move towards is societal, but
hey,
it
hey,
will
hey, hey, hey,
definitely
hey,
feel
I'm not going to let
what.
this go. I've got to add my 2 cents. Speaking as somebody who
I'll
literally
give you
stood
1.5.
above where Charles Darwin was buried and got their selfie taken with William Shakespeare while they were in England. So there is a connection there. There is a very deep connection to experiencing just being even where they're resting. When I went to Stratford upon Avon, the one thing that I really wanted to see was one of the first folios. For those that don't know, it's what virtually every Shakespearean play comes from, is the folios. And they're not necessarily the originals. They could be copies of the originals that were just gathered over time. But
They were shared in story and song, but now
yeah,
they're written down.
but they were not available for us to see. But even just being there, walking around his house, there was everything just had more meaning after that trip. And I didn't even like Shakespeare that much.